The engine is finally back in the E60, but how did we get here? From day one, this BMW E60 535i has been a journey of patience, passion, and precision. What started as a leaking, tired N54 engine quickly turned into one of the most rewarding builds I've ever done. But although the engine is back in the E60, we still are not finished with the job. Today is the moment of truth. I will be sharing the lessons that could save you from disaster and answering the one question that's been keeping me up at night. Will the E60 actually start?
On the south side, cool with the list, shout out my best. I got it, send me these, make a little nest.
This is one of those steps that separates real builders from parts changers. Installing the torque converter bolts on the BMW E60 with the N54 engine. We've already got the transmission lined up and bolted to the bell housing. It's time to lock the power to the heart of this build. The torque converter bolts are small, but they are critical. Miss this step or rush it, and you'll be pulling the transmission back out again. I start by rotating the crank manually from the front of the engine, one turn at a time, until each bolt hole lines up through the access window. Every time the hole lines up, I install one bolt, a dab of blue Loctite, thread it in carefully by hand, and then torque it down snug. Never force it. You want smooth engagement. The converter should sit flush against the flex plate. No gap, no wobble. There are 6 bolts in total. Each one gets equal attention. BMW didn't design these cars for shortcuts. Everything has to line up with precision. Once all 6 bolts are torqued, I rotate the crank one final time to double check alignment. Smooth, no resistance, perfect. That's when you know it's right. Psst, like the video. This piece might not look like much, but it's what delivers power to the front wheels, the missing link that brings xDrive back to life. Without it, you've got half the traction, half the performance, and none of that BMW balance we all love. Hit that subscribe button. I want to see if it works. One by one, each bolt goes in. Once the front driveshaft is locked in, I spin it by hand just to make sure it moves freely, smooth, balanced, and has zero play. That's the sound of mechanical perfection. Now this passenger side motor mount nut is pretty hard to get to, but I do have a secret spot up top I will show you guys later. Every step in this build matters, but right here, this is the connection between power and motion, the passenger side axle, the bridge between the front differential and the wheel. It's what makes everything the N54 creates and puts it straight to the pavement. This E60 535 has been through the grind, engine out, gaskets, mounts, transmission, and now it's time to bring the drivetrain back to life piece by piece. When you're rebuilding a BMW from ground up, the suspension is where precision meets control. And right here, the front control arms are the foundation on how the E60 feels on the road. These axles use a 36mm socket, and tightening them with one hand is not for the weak. This piece doesn't just look clean, it's a shield. It protects the oil pan, the transmission, and critical components from road debris, water, and corrosion. On a high-performance N54 build, it's essential. I start by aligning the tray carefully under the car. You want it flush, no gaps, no misalignment. The mounting points are precise. BMW designed this to sit just right. This is where the E60 starts to look complete. Installing the front radiator, oil cooler, and AC condenser assembly all in one piece. It might seem like just another panel, but this is the lifeline of the engine. The radiator keeps the N54 running at the perfect temperature, the oil cooler protects the heart of the motor, and the AC condenser ensures comfort isn't sacrificed for performance. I start by carefully lowering the entire assembly into place. It's a tight fit, so patience is key. Every hose, every line, every mounting tab has to line up perfectly. Now that we got that installed, I do have one issue. This bolt on the oil cooler decided to challenge us today. We turn, we fight, and eventually it gives in. That's BMW life. So guess what? I'm gonna take on this challenge and remove this bolt without messing up any of the threads on the oil cooler. For a second, it felt impossible. The bolt wouldn't budge, the alignment was off by a hair, and every angle seemed wrong. I stared at it, thinking maybe this step would break the flow of the whole build. But I kept pushing. I took a deep breath, slowed down, and methodically worked through it. Every tool, every angle, every bit of patience mattered. Sweat, frustration, and focus collided in my garage. If you've ever had to drill out a bolt, make sure to comment below. I'm telling you guys, it felt like I tried everything and nothing was working. The impossible was beaten. The mission succeeded. And now the oil cooler is secured, the build continues, and the E60 keeps coming back to life. This is the moment where everything comes together. The brain of the N54 engine, the DME, holds the keys to the life for the E60. One wrong connection and the car won't start, won't run, or worse, could throw errors that are a nightmare to trace. This isn't just plugging wires in. This is bridging the old with the new, the restored engine to the car's digital brain. Fuel control, turbo management, Vanos timing, ignition, all waiting to communicate once these connections are complete. You can now tighten the 6 bolts on the DME cover. I usually use a T30 to tighten these bolts. There are 2 engine mount bolts. One is a nut. This one right here is a E12 to tighten it. And this is the secret spot I wanted to show you guys. If you look right through here, you will see an access point for the 16mm nut that goes on the passenger side. This is one of those steps where everything starts to feel real. The intake manifold going back onto the N54. Slowly, carefully, the manifold sits into position. The weight, the alignment, the symmetry, everything clicks just right. Each bolt goes in by hand, threading with caution. From the first bolt back on the engine, the N54 starts to feel alive again. The connections, the sensors, the vacuum lines, everything communicates now in harmony.
What has he become?
He's what the world made him become.
Why does no one try to stop?
Now that the front end is coming together, it's time to install the radiator fan, the final piece that keeps the N54 breathing cool under every mile. Make sure to hit that like button. Finally, the front crash bar. Getting this big piece of aluminum back on feels like a huge milestone. It makes the engine bay feel like a giant hole and more like a car again. Just like that, the heavy lifting is mostly done. It feels good. The engine is now a permanent resident once again. On each side of the crash bar, there are 4 13mm bolts. Just like I say in all my other videos, make sure to put all bolts in by hand. It's the easiest way to not strip anything. Comment below what's your favorite way to pull a motor. Is it through the front or do you drop the motor with the subframe? I start by aligning the bumper with the fenders and core support, making sure all clips and mounting points line up perfectly. One wrong angle and the fit won't be flush, and the BMW tolerances are tight. Once aligned, I secure the side brackets, the lower mounts, and the top bolts. Every click of a fastener feels like the final puzzle piece locking into place. Also, don't forget the connections on the bumpers. Some of them have parking sensors. The front fog lights you don't want to forget to plug in either. There is a lot of stuff that we put back on this E60, but you don't want to forget these 4 bolts right here. They help hold the bumper on. The moment the bumper is fully seated, you can see it. The car begins to look whole again. The front end, once torn apart, now tells a story of patience and passion. Now at this point, while I'm putting on the wheels, I just have one thing that's stuck on my mind. Will this E60 run? This plastic shroud goes on top of the radiator. It's held on by 4 T25 bolts. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to like the video. Not gonna lie, you won't be able to open the hood without this. These are the hood latches and they're held on by T30 bolts. Next up is the strut tower brace. This is held on by 4 bolts. Hold on. How are we gonna do this swap without changing the spark plugs? Let's get these installed. Here's the part number for you guys. These are spark plugs. It's pretty straightforward. You just need the special BMW socket. Now it's time to install the trim pieces that hold the cabin air filters into place. These aren't too bad to install. It's just 13mm nuts that you have to twist on. If you've made it this far in the video, make sure to smash that subscribe button.
Third rule of the leaf, Uriform.
All right, here we go. It lives, it's running. That is the best sound in the world. The engine is settling into a beautiful smooth idle. The sound is perfect. No rattle, no knocks, nothing scary. Just the smooth hum of a BMW inline 6. You can hear the injectors ticking, which is totally normal for these engines. The exhaust sounds clean, no smoke, which means the turbo seals are probably happy. This feeling is just incredible. To hear it running so smoothly after it was in a million pieces on the garage floor, it's fantastic. All those hours cleaning, torquing, and routing wires have paid off. This is the moment that makes all the frustration and busted knuckles totally worth it. This project was a mountain. Pulling an engine is never small, and the N54 presents its own special challenges. We took it on, we were methodical, and we won. So what are the big takeaways? First, organization is everything. Second, do not cut corners on the while you're in there jobs.